Hey, welcome back. Part 2, May 5th, 2017, 3-ball walk. And we're a good 2 months, month and a half into the baseball season.
Yeah.
And things are heating up. You know, different things. What's caught you by surprise? Not by surprise. What are you?
Well, the one thing I think right now that is people will call me on my phone is be great.
They want to see on the show.
I would say that I'd ask this question. Since you were with 2 Major League Baseball teams, did you ever see someone get kicked out of a stadium for life?
No.
Because in Boston that has happened now, and due to we talked in the first section about the Orioles and due to racial slurs that were used in the stadium, and Adam Jones now has said that he was. I can't believe in this day 2017 we're talking about that.
Why?
I just can't. I just thought we were past that to a large degree. I mean,
why would you think we're past that? We're not past that.
People are individuals.
They are individuals.
You still have people with Nazi swastikas doing whatever, and people are idiots, and people are individuals, and you can control the masses, or not control. You can make laws for the masses, but you're always going to have the lone idiot. And if they're treated like lone idiots and they're ignored, it goes away.
I don't know if it goes away. Clearly,
it doesn't go away, but you just don't bring attention.
Clearly, this has been a pattern. In the surprising stadium for me is that it's a pattern supposedly in Boston that other people have brought up. That's not the first time. I would have thought, okay, if you give me Atlanta,
that's just where I was going.
If you give me Houston, if you give me Arlington, maybe I could see that. But the fact that it's in Boston.
Well, Boston was the last team to integrate. Yep. Boston was the last. Boston has always been.
But Boston always. Massachusetts leans to the left. They always tout themselves as most liberal and tolerant state, and yet here's the fan base that is accused by players of being the worst in baseball.
Do as I say, and not as I do, and it's easy. I've always thought Boston, and I've always looked at cities that don't have large minority populations per se can always be the ones to preach the most about how to treat minorities, because in a way during the 50s, 60s, they didn't have to do it. And then all of a sudden the other cities that wind up growing through that and getting through it and learning and whatever, the Birminghams, the Atlantas and whatever, eventually, whether you have large, and in this case minority, we're talking African, whether you have large African-American populations that become politicians, become leaders, become whatever, and those cities work it out through experience. When you don't have that, you can keep sitting there saying, well, this is the way you should, and then when you have to do it, you don't, because it hasn't happened.
Right, but all right, so you throw the guy out, right? You ban him for life. All right, on what grounds do you ban him for life?
Oh, no, that's where you have to, and that's the old sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And we have in the last 5, 10, 15 years become completely different from that, where sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will emotionally scar me for the rest of my life. And so now it is more offensive to say something to someone than it is to beat them over the head with a baseball bat.
And if you go there pregame and you're hearing the mixed track that's playing, what about if a song is on there that offends you? Do you then? Now does the Well, we had a little technical issue, so we're in the middle of the rant back about dealing with a young man or old man, I don't know how old he is, who got kicked out for life, and I asked the question, so if the ball club is playing a
Did we get to the sticks and stones?
Yeah, we got past that.
Yeah.
And if the team is playing a track of an artist, let's say, that uses that particular word in a lot of their songs, do you not play that artist because they use that word a lot in their songs?
That depends on who the artist is, because certain artists are allowed to use words like that in their songs, while other artists are not allowed to use that. So the others wouldn't even get recorded and be played.
Right, but I mean, even if you don't play that song, obviously you wouldn't play that song, but do you play somebody that's offensive in other areas that talks about demeaning women or demeaning whoever the group is?
It's a tough line, and it's a tough line to draw right now because
What can you say as a fan and what can you not say as a fan? If I say you stink, am I offensive?
You have to be
Because-
careful. No, because
what
here
if that person
you wind
has
up.
a contract with
See-
right guard and I offend them because I say they stink and I hurt their ability to make money?
Eventually, we may get to that, and I think what it is right now is there's certain offenses, certain things you can say and cannot say in public that are not going to be tolerated. And sadly enough, I'll give you can have a Major League Baseball player paid by a club representing baseball go on an interview for a minute and a half and drop 25 F-bombs.
Right,
Manny
which all get
Machado,
bleeded.
Which
all
easy
get
to do.
bleeded, but it's perfectly fine and nothing's going to wind up happening because he can say whatever he wants. And the word profanity and offensive language from the time I was a kid to right now has completely changed.
I mean, girls talking, you walk across campus across the way and you just
We were going to show you the campus, by the
We
way.
were, but the lighting's not very good. So, you just hear language coming out from everyday life that would have
It
gotten,
used to be if you spoke like that in public.
you got your mouth washed out with soap. I don't care
Well,
how
no,
old
but
you are.
even in public, you'd get in trouble. I mean, you can't go into a
My
classroom.
mom was the queen. She was the Serena of her time, my mother.
But I think it is a day in which we live.
Gonna have a baby.
Yeah, Serena is right. Serena's
It's a day in which you live where you can't say certain things and you can't do certain things. And even athletes now, they have to know that people are watching them and they have to know that everybody's recording and everybody's got a cell phone. We talked about that before. Everybody is a journalist
Yeah.
because everybody has a camera and it will turn viral in a moment if you say something, do something, or cause some kind of ruckus.
And what I was trying to go with was, what is the fans' right, or what is the decorum, and it's changed since, say, when we were kids, that was before they had fire, but when you go to a ball game when you're younger, to today, and how it's changed over.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember.
Especially the last 15
Is it
years.
different?
I remember I used to
Sports,
ask my dad a lot of times watching games about, look at that, he's a drunk idiot.
Right, exactly.
Just ignore him.
Just ignore him. That's
Now the drunk idiot is being held more responsible for what he says and does than the paid person because of where we've drawn lines.
Is it different at different sports? I mean, you go to an NFL football game, and you might not hear that word, but you'll hear a whole lot of stuff
Oh, man.
that's rained down on everybody. You go to a soccer match, and they're questioning, internationally, they're questioning the lineage and heritage of every
Right,
other
but
The
player.
last Gator game I
Well,
went to.
soccer game, yeah.
The last Gator game I went to, football
But
game.
soccer's getting to the point where they're not
The
tolerated.
football game I went to, this guy was speaking in half words because he said "mother" every. It was half a word. The guy the whole time behind me, and it's just like it's like, okay, enough. But I don't want to get into a fight. No, just ignore him because the guy's loaded.
And eventually that's what. But
if you call
it can
it-
be ignored
if it
until
goes to national television and it's drawn out by a
Then
player,
someone's gotta do
somebody in Boston had to do something to somebody in the stands, or else Boston looks like an organization that tolerates it.
correct. Right.
And that's the sad part is that, okay, so let's just say this guy did say it. I don't know whether he did or didn't. Maybe he did. And maybe he said it
Well, I'm
one
sure
time.
he did because a lot of people are, and
Maybe he said it
and
one
there's
time.
no place for it.
Maybe he
They're
said it
really-
one time, all right? Maybe he was drunk, said it one time, made a mistake, all right? There's not if you don't establish a pattern of that, if it's like, okay, you should not say that word, and nobody at Boston said, if it's been that way for a long time, and apparently from what players have been saying, this isn't the first opportunity the outfield has had to say that word to people who would play in the outfield. So if that's the case, then why hasn't there been an effort to say, if you say that again, you're going to be gone?
Yeah, no, and I think, and that's part. I remember, and you probably don't, but I remember 25, almost 30 years ago, okay, being in Atlanta with you,
Yep.
sitting on the first row of left field, and me heckling Lonnie Smith the entire game because when he was a Cardinal, he got into drugs, and I kept saying, "Hey, there's cocaine," and all kinds of stuff with Lonnie Smith skates down there who would show up every other game. You didn't know which Lonnie Smith you were going to wind up
Good one,
getting.
bad one.
Okay, and that was the game. I mean, I was a 20-something-year-old kid just having fun riding the left fielder.
Exactly.
And now, and I understand.
He
There's
crossed the
certain
line.
things you cross the line,
Right.
and you can't do that. So you get escorted, you get tossed, you get told to shut up or whatever it is.
You come back, you do it again, you get tossed out, and you're not coming back to the stadium. But how, exactly what rule did he break that you have stated? That's my question.
Do tickets on the back, I know you can't, there's certain things and whatever, do tickets on the back now say there are these words you cannot use, in a stadium? But you'll be banned for life from the stadium if you speak and say these things.
So you invent another word? So, I mean, if you want to, racism is going to continue because racists are going to continue. We have not eliminated racism from our culture. We have not eliminated racism from our land. And
The same as we haven't eliminated idiots that run out across the street in front of cars. But you know what?
Dismissed it.
It's going to happen.
so, I mean, at some point, you're going to have another word that's going to be translated, that's going to have some other statement that's going to be there. Is that okay? I mean, if you just don't use this word, but you still have the sentiment behind it? No, it's not. That's the point. No, it's not. And if the fans need to rise up and say, shut your mouth, or be escorted out of the stadium. This is not who we are. This is
That's
not
how
our
you shut
section.
up fans.
That's
is
not
when the
our
fans
section.
around sit there and say, that drunk down there
Get him out.
has said such and such.
You call them and you call security and you get them out. You
And
say,
you
get them out of there. We don't want them in our section.
But see, when it's the player that has to turn around, and that's the other part too, and I know it's not that level or anything like that, and I know people are more sensitive than other people and everything like that, but I'll be honest, when I played baseball, I didn't hear.
Oh, I heard it, but you chose to ignore it.
It was like you're so zoned in.
When I was in
that
college,
don't let people.
I got cussed out like nobody's business playing college. I had people say things about me and my heritage and the way I looked and whatever I was doing and everything else. And people say, oh, well, you don't know what it's
And
like
that's a
to be
fan's
ugly.
job, is to take you out of the game.
If they can get me thinking about the fat, ugly guy up there in the stands rather than the game, then they win. That's why you have a home field advantage. Now, certain things I think
and that's the
don't
one
cross
thing I don't
line.
want to come across saying it's tolerable.
No,
it's not.
it's not.
It's not. To be
But at
tolerable.
some point, at some level, you're a professional baseball player, and you got to ignore it and go play the game and let the people in the stands handle it. And if you don't, then now everybody knows, hey, we can yell, and if we say the right things, we can get in his head. He hears us.
But then I don't want to cross that line where I'm banned for life
Right.
from the stadium.
Right. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough week. Hey, we didn't get a chance to talk. Let's talk very quickly about the triple play for a minute that happened, which the question is whether or not it should have been an infield fly rule.
No, it shouldn't have, but it should. It could have. It was at that borderline where you can get a free double play out of it.
Infield fly
You should
rule does
never
not
get a
have to
triple.
happen. Does not have to happen on the infield.
Correct.
People mistake that and think it's got to be on the dirt for it to be an infield fly rule. It doesn't. It has to be a catch that is reasonably made by an infielder with runners at first and second and less than 2 outs.
Or bases loaded, and
Well, yeah, but if the bases are loaded, there's runners at first and second.
that's
That's the way the rule is written. First and
it says,
second,
or the bases loaded.
less than 2 outs.
But here's the whole point: is that should never be a triple play.
No, because you should run to first base and touch first base.
The guy that hit the ball
Should run to first
be
base.
safe at first base.
He should have been.
But basically, I don't know. Short left field, shortstop goes back left fielder. They kind of
It was a tough play because the wind was blowing.
and they couldn't decide who was going to catch it. The ball drops, picks it up, throws it into the second baseman. He catches it, tags the dude who
thrower.
kind of is in limbo.
Yep.
Steps on second,
and then throws the
and
first.
throws the first and gets a triple play.
Always run it out.
And those two guys, in a way, are caught in no
Yeah,
man's land.
that's a double play.
Yeah, that's
either way.
double play,
You
right?
know.
Either way, if you start to run, that's why we're going to
But I'll tell you what's interesting is the minute that ball fell, and I don't know why he was going back to second because infield fly rule was never called. So that guy
Maybe
at
he thought
second,
it was.
when that ball fell, he should be running to
Both
third.
into third.
Then the throw has to go to third, and they're going to have to go from the outfield to third to second
To first.
to first instead of one guy tag step and throw.
I mean, it's been a weird. It's been a weird time. There's been weird things in baseball. And did you see Molino pick the guy off at third base?
No.
Oh my gosh. Ball four, runner at second and third, ball four. Guy starts jogging down to first base. The guy at third base is kind of just standing there. Molina's looking, and the third baseman sneaks up behind him, and Molina throws a dart, catches it, tags him before he can step back on the bag. Out, number 3 in the inning instead of baseball. I mean, the guy is phenomenal. Baseball, he's just phenomenal. He's got a great arm. Hey, we got to run. We'll talk about it next week.
Card show this weekend, Jacksonville Mandarin, Ramada Inn, Wild Beast Feast Saturday. Also, Daryl Strawberry will be the guest, Westside Baptist Church. Come see us.
Play baseball.
Have
See
a
you.
great week.